Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Skratch. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server, and guess what? We're gonna have a look at Supreme Elhain, the new fusion champion that we have in the game, and we're gonna check if she's really worth the effort. Because we do have a lot of nukers in the game. She is a Void legendary champion as well, and Plarium clearly stated in their post that she is meant to compete in the current arena meta. She's meant to relieve all the pain that we have with Necrate and different champions out there. So we're gonna see if she can actually smack. I gave her the gear from my Baron, so she should be on pretty decent stats. Now, of course, she's not empowered, she's not awakened or anything crazy like that. But these are the stats that we have on her, the build that I have on her. And let me quickly walk you through multipliers and all the rest of the things. So the A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target. This has a 2.0 multiplier. Per hit, the A2 attacks all enemies, damage increases by 10% for each debuff on each target. Resets the cooldown of the crack shot skill if this attack kills an enemy. A 3-turn cooldown, you are getting 20% more from books on each one of the skills. And this skill has a 4-point multiplier, similar with Astrolon. Let me put it like that. So this skill is pretty average in terms of multipliers. If you don't have any debuffs on the target, which it might happen in the higher end arena, in the lower tier stack team arena, yeah, you can still run Madame series. You're still gonna get decent damage out of the champion. Absolutely not a problem whatsoever. As long as you don't hit on polymorph, you know. So with debuffs, if you have 10 debuffs on the enemy, which in arena most probably is not going to happen unless you're cheesing it with Calvalax, she's gonna do serious damage like that. Like, she's kind of like Haprax sort of level in terms of damage with 10 debuffs, you know. If she doesn't have debuffs, she's actually pretty weak. Very similar with Rare Elhain, let me put it like that. On the A3, attacks one enemy, will ignore ally protection, strengthen, and shield buffs. Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Sounds pretty juicy. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, and this has a 6.0 multiplier, which is actually a fairly decent multiplier. Now, because she doesn't ignore defense or anything like that, a 6.0 multiplier is not completely making her justice, you know. But it's a fairly decent multiplier. The passive, immune to decrease attack, which is definitely very nice, inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose attack is lower than this champion's attack. And most of the times, all the enemies will have lower attack. When you're attacking a team in arena, yes, you will be finding a nuker in there as well, but most of the arena defenses that are fairly decent, they won't be relying only on a lot of champions with high attack, you know. And she has a pretty nice attack aura for all battles, 30%. Now I have her built on a Savage and a Cruel. Total stats, I have 31k HP, 7.8k attack almost, 2.3k defense, 156 speed, 100 crit rate, 295 crit damage. Now keep in mind, the speed is made for my own teams, right? In Platinum Arena, I don't want my nukers to be very fast. For a lot of you guys out there, you still want to get more speed, aim at 200 speed maybe, or depending on what sort of team you're planning to use, to make sure that the opponent won't cut on your team, you know, if you don't have enough turn meter, enough speed. This is the weapon right here. It's a pretty juicy weapon. The helmet, the shield, crit damage gloves, of course, attack chest piece. You see, I hit good ascension on them. Attack boots, attack ring, crit damage amulet with the attack substat, sorry, not percentage. You don't need accuracy or anything like this on the champion. And then this is the banner. Now, in terms of her own base stats, I'm a bit disappointed in the HP. It's pretty low for a Void Legendary, 13,800. I feel like even the rare version has something similar with that. I wish she would have had like a 16k HP. At least give her decent stats for a Void Legendary, you know. But hey, it is what it is. In terms of masteries, we have offense and defense 3. Tier 6, of course, we went with Helm Smasher. We want to ignore more defense to do more damage all around. That being said, we're going to take her in the Dragon Stage 23. We're going to test a bit the damage. We're going to check the animations. Then we're going to take her in for a spin in Arena. And one place where she could potentially be fairly decent is Dragon. Fairly decent. is the new spider dungeon, right? The hard mode dungeons, because we gotta kill the spiderlings in there. And we have Ray, which does a similar thing with her A2. Damage increases based on the debuffs on the target. So we're gonna attempt to see what sort of damage we can pull off from her in the spider dungeon as well, after we're done with the rest of the things. So Dragon's Lair, stage 23. That's where we're normally testing the DPS champions. Let's drop that out and recently use first. Bring in a defense down and a weaken, and we're gonna put her in here. I'm not gonna use her attack lead. I normally don't do it when I'm testing DPS champions, but just as an idea, we're gonna start with the A3. We're gonna check the animations, and then I'm gonna replace and put the attack lead as well, just so you guys get to see it better in action. So here we are. Defense down and weaken on everybody. This skill ignores ally protection, strength, and shield. We don't have them on any of the targets. We're gonna check that in arena if we find any decent teams. So we're gonna hit this right here. Bang, 312k hit. We're gaining the extra turn. Now, think about Alika from the Barbarians, the sisters, you know. She has a very similar skill with a very similar multiplier, but she ignores defense. She does hit harder than Supreme Elhain. Kind of like to get a grasp of her potential in the skill. And bang, we managed to one-shot everybody. 270k, 280k, and that was with two debuffs on the target, you know. If we're gonna back out and come at it again, I wanna show you a different thing now. So I'm gonna try to land no debuffs on most of the champions, you know. And we're gonna start with the A2 now. So an A2 without defense down, without weaken. Let's see what damage we're getting out of it. 104k, so kind of like a third of the HP. On some of them, almost 50% HP. It's still fairly decent, but it's not gonna be as great in arena, you know. If we're gonna back out, edit a team, let's get that energy, test server. I don't care about wasting all this. And now we're gonna go with her attack. And we're not gonna use the A3, so the masteries will give me extra damage for killing an enemy with the A3. So what I want to do now is just to go with the A2 instead. The animations are fairly decent though, similar. Okay, so we managed to one-shot everyone with the attack lead. I gotta say the damage is not that bad. Okay, it's fairly decent. And of course we had the debuffs. That's what really makes the difference in here, having the debuffs on the target. So if we're gonna try to bring in a lot of debuffs on the enemies, let's go in like this. Kale actually brings a lot of debuffs, and yeah, I don't really think I can bring somebody else in to give me more debuffs. So let's do that. Crit, nice. So we got 4 debuffs. We should be having 6 now. Okay, and now we're gonna add 3 more. Right, so we have a lot of debuffs. Now, we already dealt some damage on them, which is fine. But the main idea is to see the numbers that she's going to drop with all these debuffs. They're going to be huge because, yeah, having so many debuffs is actually crazy, but not realistic, right? 429k on the left side. We've seen 290, 300k and something. So that's pretty nasty damage, man, with all the debuffs. The reality is that it's not really going to happen in arena. You know, like, it's pretty unlikely to happen. Right now, we are on the test server. The teams here are not extraordinary, except a couple of them. So we can give it a go and kind of like see what sort of damage we're going to get out of it. Even right here, this is actually a fairly decent team. I don't have my nukers build, my other ones. So we're going to go with her as the only nuker, and we're going to do it. Actually, we're going to go like this. They have no threat. We're going to increase the aura. We're going to lock them as well. And we're going to target to go for the Harima first. Actually, no. We might do 2 fights on this. We're going to hit a Duchess with Harima alive. Just so you guys get the grasp. See what sort of damage we're getting. There we go. Polymorph in action in all its beauty. So that Duchess has a shield. Fortunately, I don't think she took a turn yet. So hopefully we don't hit reaction. But let's see. So we haven't managed to one-shot her. We gave her 111k, if I've seen that correctly. And if we back out and we come again at it after we use the A2, actually, I wanna hit Harima first, you know. So let's do that. Drop a bit of thermometer on that one. I want to use that A2 now. They have no debuffs, right? Except that Duchess who has decreased attack, but that's about it. That still gives us 10%, you know. And, okay, that's gone. Forget about it. We don't have any debuffs on the targets. Which should be fine. Should be fine. Okay, so let's see what sort of damage we're getting like this. Okay, so we barely scratched them a bit. We gave them a little smack. Definitely not very powerful. If we're gonna come back in the same fight, so this time around we're actually gonna go all in on Harima. That's what you should do if you attack similar teams, you know. And let's log them quick. I was gonna say hopefully we don't drop that thermometer on Harima to ensure that she doesn't have reaction. Let's put increased attack, and she's free to hit. She does have increased defense as well, right? Her passive will knock down our ignore defense damage too from the Savage and Hand Smasher if it procs. Can we one-shot her or no? And we managed to get her down. 65k hit, beautiful. And let's see now, without having all that damage reduction from her, what will the A2 do? Of course, Pythian brings in some damage reduction. 3 buffs, 15% damage reduction. But I'm curious to see. So again, we barely gave them a scratch on the shield, you know. So the A2 is really not powerful without having any sort of debuffs. Now, if we're gonna try it a bit different, so let's see something. What is it? So we're gonna go in like this. We're gonna take Necrit out, and I'm gonna hope that I still have a Madame series that has accuracy. I haven't used them in so long, and honestly, I have no idea if they have gear on or no. This is very slow, but she should be able to do the job. I should have another one somewhere. Let's see. Maybe that one still has the gear and more accuracy. Okay, she doesn't. Forget about it. We're gonna bring this one. She's faster than Elhain. That's what matters. And I don't think they have that much resistance. Of course, that Mitrala will have the resistance, but it's fine. She's gonna take the turn before, so we're gonna be able to strip the buffs from the other enemies. So we do that. Okay, Pythian got resisted. The shield cannot be removed anyway, but we landed the defense down, so that was a 3% chance to get resisted there. We're gonna hit the Harima, and we hit on reaction, unfortunately. That's fine, because we're gonna come up and try to clean with the A2, you know. Hopefully that's gonna work. Okay, so they have increased defense now. They have a lot of buffs, a lot of damage reduction from Pythian. Okay, try to do that. We landed more debuffs on them, which is good. We haven't got shipped yet because he doesn't really have a high blessings, which is fine. It's good for us. And let's see now. Okay, so even like this, considering that they have some damage reduction, which is gonna be very common in Arena, guys. This was a fusion champion. Harima is not as common, but she will be pretty common. Mitrala is very common as well. And yeah, the damage is just not there. Now let's try to attack a different team. A team that you're gonna encounter in the lower tiers of Arena. It's gonna be something a bit more popular, to say like this. So we have this one right here. This looks pretty decent. We have them. The Necrit is protecting Torment, so that's what we're gonna target, because that already allows us to ignore the ally protection, the shield, you know. So that's gonna be good. I'm not gonna strip with Madame just yet. We're gonna wait another round, and that's when we're gonna use the A2. I'm gonna target that Torment. Bang, 108k hit. We got that Torment down. Now I'm not sure how powerful he is. You know, like I have no idea what sort of build he has. We managed to kill him with a A1, which is good now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna strip the buffs with Madame series. I'm gonna land that defense down and then nuke with the A2. Okay, that Mortu seems like he wants to be nasty. It's fine, Mortu, we're coming for you. Don't get too excited. Okay, so we have everything that we need. Okay, so we managed to one-shot him like this. But again, I have no idea how tanky those champions are. I have no idea if it's a powerful team or if it's not a powerful team. If we're gonna go in against a team like this, it's definitely gonna be a different cup of tea. But you know what? I do want to try it out. I don't think I'm gonna have enough accuracy on my Madame series, so I'll be back in a quick second. Okay, so I fixed the gear on my Madame series. We have around 800 accuracy now. We should be more than good to go against this team. I'm gonna have to keep the speed lead because their autos might be pretty fast compared to my nuker, you know, so I just want to make sure we're going to be spot on. And they do have some stone skin in here. Okay, so we managed to get that on. Hopefully we're not going to get shipped directly. Okay, we got lucky. We got lucky. That's good to know. So right now, I could potentially hit a target bank. I could risk that the Rotos is going to counterattack. But you know what? Let's try and hit that Ursaga. Okay, we hit reaction. We didn't manage to take her down. It's going to happen pretty damn often. She's not going to be that great against Rotos. I'm supposed to actually hit Rotos with the A1. Why didn't I thought about that before? Could have been a better choice, you know? So let's try to do that. Maybe we'll land a couple of more debuffs. It didn't happen, which is fine. We're going to go at it again. Drop a bit the shield there, and let's see. So we haven't managed to one-shot this Duchess, unfortunately, even with two debuffs. She wasn't protected by anyone except Ursaga's passive and maybe a Guardian set. So that's actually showing that even with 1 or 2 debuffs on the target, the damage is just not enough to kill some of these higher end champions, you know. I'm still gonna fuse her just because she was my starter champion. That's literally the reason why I'm going for the fusion, you know. So let's get that main threat down. We're gonna be able to maybe lock that enemy team again in a bit. We're gonna target to get that Necro down, because if I hit Rotos with a A3, I risk him to counterattack me, you know. So there we go. We have 2 debuffs again. That shield. You know what? I'm gonna go with A1. Okay, so we haven't managed to kill him even like that. Damn it. I thought that I'm gonna get him down. Still pretty okay-ish, I would say. Pretty okay-ish. Okay, come on, Elhain. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Look at all those debuffs. Look at all those debuffs. Give me that increased attack. And now we can just try that. Bang, 46k hit and 112k hit. I feel like in the right circumstances, she will deal some damage. It's going to be a bit harder for the majority of us to set her up against most of the teams. It's kind of like the reality of it, you know. I'm going to look to see if we can do some job against a Cupid's team as well, you know. So here we go. This usually can be pretty annoying. Not gonna lie. So we're gonna have to drop that. We're gonna have to bring in an accurate to protect our nuker just in case. I do want to lock them before. That Cupid's might have reaction, might not. Seems like he's on stone skin. Okay, so she's not really gonna be helpful. Unfortunately, if she would ignore stone skin, that would be a different type of food. And let her go crazy however she wants, you know. So we managed at least to break that stone skin on Cupid's. And from here on, we're just going to clean up. Now, I'm on the test server. The teams are not as realistic as they are in the games. A lot of the teams are pretty average, or some of them are like to the next extreme. You know, there's kind of like no middle ground with them to be able to test more things for you guys. And here with her, I kind of like wanted to pinpoint her damage. It didn't feel that impressive. Look, Farbstop, he has actually a pretty decent team, so we can attempt to go against these. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop the speed lead. Hopefully that Candlephone is not extremely fast. Not gonna surprise me. And I want that Mitrola to cleanse before my Madame series. That's the reason why I'm doing it like this, you know. It's fine. Did we just locked her? Did we just locked her? Maybe we locked her and I missed it. Okay, so let's do that. Bang. And bang. Hit reaction on Duchess. The others got melted. So if you manage to land the 2 debuffs with Madame series, you have a much better chance at obliterating teams, you know. And how I mentioned, for the majority of you guys in Tag Team Arena, in the lower tiers, you're still gonna be able to do the job. That being said, we're done with Arena. We have one more thing that we want to test out with her, guys, and that's gonna be the new Spider Dungeon. Hard mode, stage 10. I want to see what sort of damage she's gonna bring in there. And I'm not really gonna create a team to make it work to be the dungeon here necessarily. I just want to make sure we are kind of like doing the right thing. So I'm probably gonna look to land more debuffs, you know. So we want to get more. Let's bring him as well. The more debuffs, the better, you know. I'm not gonna use Battle Khazar just because he's increasing the damage from the passive. So that's gonna be pretty confusing. It's gonna dilute our testing here. My next thing is, will I have enough speed on her? Hopefully. So more debuffs. More debuffs. Okay, let's see the damage. I want to see the numbers, you know. 457k. So it's decent damage. If you have 2 Royal Guards, you're not gonna need this, you know, because it's easier to create a team around the Royal Guards and stuff. That is pretty much everything for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Supreme Elhain? You think she's worth it? The effort? Are you gonna go for the fusion? You're gonna save the resources? Or just because she's the starter, similar like me, you're gonna go and get it done? Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.